Hey there, it's Melissa Ramos from Sexy Food Therapy, and of course I am on my red couch because it's another week of the Red Couch Confessions. But this week we are taking it off my red couch, and the reason why, we are going into my kitchen to talk all about cold. For all those people out there who think all that natural shit don't work, well guess what, it does. And this is a part 1 of 2. This week we're talking about foods and talking about all the kinds of foods that are going to help save you money, all the types of foods that are going to help you for various different kinds of cold for you, your partner, your child, whomever, your friend. And next week we're going to be talking about supplements, those that worked for you in the past or that might not have worked for you in the past, and the reasons why. So welcome to another amazing week of the Red Couch Confessions. Alright, so there are 2 different kinds of common cold symptoms that people get according to Chinese medicine. Number 1, there are the cold symptoms, which is when you feel very chilly, when you're coughing, you produce a lot of phlegm and mucus, when you have a very runny nose. The flip side are heat symptoms. Heat symptoms produce things like red eyes, head colds, really bad body aches, feeling feverish, and barking kinds of cough. So those are 2 different kinds of things. Now these things get treated very differently. So today I'm going to be able to talk to you a little bit about both food and also supplements that work and that don't work, and those that you should be avoiding that could actually be giving your cold muscles. So if you think that natural stuff didn't work for your cold before, think again, because this week I'm going to kibosh it, so giddy up. Alright, so I'm going to give you a recipe, and it has to do with pear. Believe it or not, pear is amazing if you have heat symptoms, so that dry, barking, hoarse kind of cough that's just raw and sore. What you're going to do is actually, if you can just see right here, you're going to get about 2 to 3 pears and you're going to put it into a pot of water. You're going to bring it into a boil and you're going to boil it for about 45 minutes. The reason why that you do this is because what happens is the water is going to dissipate a bit and it's going to turn a little bit more thick. Now you also have the option of throwing in a little bit of flax in there to thicken things up. You just have to strain the flax afterwards. This will end up acting as a natural cough syrup, both safe for adults and kids. Now, but what about ginger? Does ginger really work for colds? Well, actually it does, and even if you have heat symptoms of a cold, ginger actually helps to release and push out the heat that you have internally and make you sweat it out. So if you've ever heard about sweating out a cold, you got it right, because you really should be. However, the one ginger that you want to sort of stay away from that doesn't work as well is dry ginger. Dry ginger is still very amazing. The only thing about dry ginger that you have to understand is that it helps to keep the warmth in. So if you're someone who tends to be very cold naturally, just in general, dry ginger is going to be perfect for you to add to foods, even to make tea with. But when it comes to having a cold, the fresh ginger is going to work much better. But what about lemon? Does lemon work for colds? Yeah, lemon actually happens to be very acidic outside the body, but happens to be very alkaline within it, and disease can't live in an alkaline base. So adding lemon to your teas is going to be incredibly therapeutic. Alright, but what happens if you are somebody who has cold symptoms? Ginger is still very beneficial for that because, as we mentioned, it's a very warming type of spice. You wouldn't be using the dry one, you still would be using the fresh one. Despite not having the heat to push out, it still actually pushes out the cold. And foods to avoid? Well, one of the main foods to avoid, believe it or not, is dairy. If you have dairy, dairy creates a lot of mucus in the system, and you want to make sure that your body has enough power and energy to get that gunk and that stuff that's in there out. So adding dairy actually helps to suppress things. It keeps it in, it builds mucus, so stay away from it completely. Alright, so I know a lot of people out there love iced water, but if you got a cold, why the heck are you putting cold into a system that has a cold? So simply just give yourself warm liquids, hot teas, things like that to actually help to warm up the system. Even if you have heat symptoms, cold water, ice water, get it right out of there. Now if you found this video useful, share it. Facebook, Twitter, etc. Even comment on YouTube and send it out there with lots of love. In the meantime, if you have any questions or confessions for me, please let me know at melissa@sexyfoodtherapy.com. Otherwise, I look forward to chatting with you next week. So have yourself a healthy, happy, and sexy day. Bye.